Just say no to Nikki. That seems to be the message from Don Jr. to his dad. According to the New York Post, Donald Trump Jr. is drawing a line in the sand for his father in the veepstakes. No Nikki Haley, he says. Harvard University President Claudine Gay, who has come under fire over accusations of plagiarism and antisemitism, is now seeing her work further scrutinized after it was revealed two professors questioned a data method she used back in 2001 in a Stanford paper that often resulted in logical inconsistencies, and she refused to share her research with them at the time. And if you've been waiting for the publication of Behind the Doors of Justice to be published, this is the memoirs of Becky Hill, the trial clerk in the Alex Murdaugh case. You're going to be waiting for a while. I'll tell you why the publisher has delayed publishing the book. Headlines in the Daily Caller: it's not even an election year, but the clock is already ticking for Joe Biden, and it's not looking good. South Carolina education lottery officials looking for a winner as a winning ticket was drawn in Charleston, South Carolina.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
According to the New York Post, Donald Trump Jr. has drawn a line in the sand for his father in the veepstakes. No Nikki Haley. He's pretty clear. Former President's son has thrown cold water on the idea that former President Trump would select his former UN ambassador as a running mate. Don Jr. was adamant about flexing his clout to ensure Haley did not get the position, according to insiders. He told Newsmax Eric Bolling in a recent interview, "I wouldn't have her, and I would go to great lengths to make sure that doesn't happen," he said. Nikki Haley wants never-ending wars. She's a puppet of the establishment in Washington, D.C. She's the new favorite candidate of the billionaire class because they want control, no different than academia and Harvard, and using their billions to exercise influence. Haley, of course, has risen quite quickly in the 2024 GOP primary polling over recent weeks, coming within 4 points of Trump in a recent American Research Group survey. She served as President Trump's UN ambassador, of course, from 2017 to 2018 when she resigned early. Amid her polling surge, there have been some rumors that maybe she'd make a good vice president, including former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy suggested it. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' campaign has sort of been needling her a bit over all the chatter around being vice president. They recently launched a website, Trump Nikki 2024. Over recent weeks, Trump has asked some of his close political allies for their thoughts as Haley serving as vice president. Haley has tamped down any speculation of her of potential vice presidential aspirations, insisting that, quote, "I don't run for second." She has said that a number of times. Moreover, she's been critical of Trump, saying that chaos and drama follows him. Trump Jr. took note of Haley's rise in the polls, saying Ron DeSantis has proven that he doesn't have what it takes to be on the stage. He's embarrassed himself that way. She is now the preferred candidate. His sister-in-law, on the other hand, Laura Trump, has expressed openness to the prospect of a Trump-Haley ticket. She told Newsmax last week, "Crazier things have happened. I would never say never with Donald J. Trump." Don Jr. is not the only MAGA star to voice his displeasure with the idea of the ticket. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene predicted on X, MAGA would revolt if Nikki Haley were to even be given an internship in Trump's next administration. She represents the neocon establishment America, last wing of the Republican Party that we are absolutely done with. Nationally, Donald Trump, of course, still leading in the 2024 GOP, followed by DeSantis, and then Haley with a quick third as it stands right now, according to Real Clear Politics. Trump has been a little mysterious about whom he will choose as his running mate, though he previously had a falling out with former Vice President Mike Pence, and we kind of can rule Pence out for sure. Haley and DeSantis will be squaring off on a CNN debate in just a few weeks prior to the Iowa caucuses on January 15th, 2024. And by the way, as a reminder, I'll be headed to Iowa for the caucuses to send you a report, and I'll also be in New Hampshire for their primary as well. Trump's relatives appear to have significant influence on his decision, which is why the New York Post has made such a big deal out of this revelation from Don Jr. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie has claimed that Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, scuttled his chances at landing a top-notch gig in the administration. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Who would you like to see as Donald Trump's running mate? That's probably a better question. Text it to the Truth text line. Tell me who you would prefer to be on the ticket with Donald Trump. The Truth text line is 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. You can call and leave a quick voice message as well, or email me, joey@joeyhudson.com. Harvard University President Claudine Gay, who has come under fire over accusations of plagiarism and antisemitism, is now seeing her work further scrutinized after it was revealed that two professors questioned a data method that she used back in 2001 in a Stanford paper that often resulted in what they called logical inconsistencies, and she refused to share her research with them to try to support her paper. I mean, this story just keeps getting worse for this lady, and how the Harvard Board of Trustees can even consider allowing her to remain in that office is just amazing to me. This is like the premier, or maybe one time was the premier university in the country, if not the world. And with decisions like this, you can see why it's slowly falling from grace, slowly falling from no longer being considered the premier. The 2001 study that's in question, it was titled "The Effect of Black Congressional Representation on Political Participation." Now remember, Ms. Gay is an African-American woman. This was one of 4 peer-reviewed articles that helped Ms. Gay gain tenure at Stanford University. But its merit could not be properly reviewed by everyone, according to a post on the dossier by Christopher Brunette. In 2002, Michael Herron, the Remsen 1943 professor of quantitative social science at Dartmouth, and Kenneth Schatz, the David S. Ann Barlow professor of political economy at Stanford Graduate School of Business, claimed to debunk the very foundation of Gay's research. At a conference of the Society for Political Methodology, I didn't know there was such a thing, it's called PolMeth, Herron and Schatz presented their research, finding inconsistencies in Ms. Gay's paper, where she concluded that the election of Black Americans to Congress negatively affects white political involvement and rarely increases political engagement among Black people. Gay has filed a correction for her 2001 Stanford paper, highlighting the effects on voters when represented by Black Americans in Congress. Mr. Herron and Mr. Schatz highlighted errors by other researchers using a similar method of research. They noted that their probe into how Ms. Gay reached her conclusion and the stats she listed were limited because she refused to share any of her research with them. That should have been a big red flag right then, right? If the author of a research paper will not share with you her research, I'd be suspect, right? The researchers noted in 2002, we were, however, unable to scrutinize Gay's results because she would not release her data set to us. Herron told the Post Tuesday, the New York Post that is, that he and Mr. Schatz have published multiple reports between 2000 and 2004 looking into how researchers use this type of the same research method that she did and the type of results it can produce. Gay and Stanford did not respond to the New York Post request for comment regarding the inconsistencies highlighted by Herron and Schatz. Mr. Brunette also noted that the 2002 PolMeth program that included Herron and Schatz's paper was missing from the conference's website, despite all other programs from 1984 to 2021 being available. PolMeth did not respond to the Post request, but I have a feeling that they probably took that down because they don't want others to be able to look at what Miss Gay's work was. Her 2001 paper is one of two the Harvard president had recently requested corrections for, following allegations that she plagiarized many papers during her academic career. For the 2001 paper, Gay noted that she failed to properly attribute and quote a source from a 1990 paper. The educator has been accused of lifting whole paragraphs without providing citations while studying for her doctorate at Harvard. They should not only run her out of the president's office, they should rescind her degree. Is that possible? If you received your doctorate and it's later determined that your research is not correct, or that you have plagiarized a major part of, could they take your doctorate back, take your diploma back? The New York Post says when they looked into the accusations, it received a threatening legal letter from Harvard denying Gay engaged in any plagiarism. The scrutiny into Miss Gay's career and research began when she received backlash over her testimony before the House Education Committee, in which she evaded questions about whether anti-Semitic chants violated the campus's code of conduct. With the controversy surrounding Gay, Harvard's governing board is facing calls from faculty to resign as critics say the Ivy League university's reputation has taken a substantial hit over the allegations surrounding its current president. You think? Your comments are welcome on the Truth text line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Does anybody know, could her degree be revoked? Boy, that would be rough, wouldn't it? To lose your job and your degree at the same time. If you've been waiting on the publication of Behind the Doors of Justice to be published, now this is the memoirs written by Becky Hill, the trial clerk in the Alex Murdaugh case. You're going to be waiting for a while. I'll tell you why the publisher has delayed publishing the book in just a moment. Let me tell you about my friends over at PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. Is 2024 going to be the year that you lose the weight for the last time? Is 2024 going to be the year that you really focus and you get serious about your health? Over 3 years ago now, I met Dr. Ashley Lucas with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition and her entire team at their Greenville office. They have offices in Asheville, Charlotte, Lake Norman. And boy, am I glad I made that decision, because it literally changed my life. I lost 30 pounds pretty quickly. And over 3 years later, I've been able to maintain that weight loss, because this is not a diet. It's not one of those fad diets where you lose the weight quickly and then it comes back. Because the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition program, based on the science of nutrition, they teach you all about food, your relationship with food. And it's more than just about losing weight. It's about getting healthy. Because when that weight starts coming off, you're going to feel better. You're going to focus more. You're going to be able to sleep better. You're going to be able to do things that maybe you haven't been able to do in a long, long time. If I'm describing how you want to spend 2024, let me encourage you to call and set up the initial consultation, 864-252-4925. Be sure you tell them that you heard about them here on Just the Truth. I've had some amazing stories shared with me over the past few years of people who've lost 25 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 135 pounds. And it has changed their life. They'll change your life too. 864-252-4925 or go online at myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition, the official partner of the Clemson Tigers. So the South Carolina trial clerk who oversaw Alex Murdaugh's murder case has been accused of plagiarizing part of a memoir she wrote about the ordeal. Now, this is kind of weird, isn't it? It's like this segment of Just the Truth has a lot of plagiarism in it, or accusations of people plagiarizing. And the irony is we try to get to the truth here on Just the Truth. Becky Hill, she is the author of Behind the Doors of Justice, and she's been accused of lifting parts of her memoir from a BBC report by her co-author, Neil Gordon. Gordon had been reviewing emails released through the Freedom of Information Act between Hill and BBC reporter Holly Hondrick when he noticed the ethical gaffe. The reporter had shared a long excerpt from an upcoming article with Hill, and after comparing it to the preface of Hill's memoir, he noticed a striking similarity. Gordon said in a statement, "When I confronted Becky about this, she admitted she plagiarized the passage due to the deadline pressures. As a veteran journalist myself, I cannot excuse her behavior, nor can I condone it. This has blindsided me," he said. He reported the plagiarism to the BBC reporter and was told the British network would investigate. Becky Hill, again, writer of Behind the Doors of Justice. The book sales have been halted, and the memoir unpublished since these revelations. Gordon apologized, saying, "Journalism has been my life's work. My credibility, integrity are paramount to everything I do. I can't be associated with anything like plagiarism and will no longer partner with Becky Hill on any projects. I'd like to apologize to our readers and publicly to the BBC and the reporter." Hill apologized through her attorney, Justin Bamberg, who said that the trial clerk was deeply remorseful regarding an allegation of plagiarism that has recently surfaced. Ms. Hill accepts full responsibility for this unfortunate lapse in judgment and has personally reached out to Ms. Hondrick to express her sincere apologies. Bamberg wrote this on X. He said, "Ms. Hill has great respect for the tireless work journalists do every day and sincerely regrets using Ms. Hondrick's words as her own." Hondrick has not publicly responded. Earlier this year, Hill was accused of witness tampering with the Alex Murdaugh defense team, citing her memoir as evidence for a retrial. Hill denied the accusation, accusing Murdaugh's defense contained numerous misrepresentations and false statements. "I did not tell the jury not to be fooled by evidence presented by Mr. Murdaugh's attorney," Hill insisted in a signed affidavit. Murdaugh was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms in prison back in March. On the Truth text line, your comments are welcome as well. 864-477-JOEY. Richard says, "We are up here in the rain, Joey, with my family from Kiowee for dinner. Have a great New Year's, and let's hope and pray that Trump will get through all this. Looking forward to the next truth." Richard in Caesar's Head, up on top of the mountain there. Faye says, "Was great to watch video with Gallagher. The upstate is still missing hearing you both on the radio. Many drivers can't watch podcasts, and you were their station of choice. We had hoped Santa would bring you back to the radio, maybe in 2024. Thank you, Faye. I appreciate that. You've been a loyal listener for many, many years. Your comments welcome as well. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Leave me a quick voice message. I love to get your voice messages. I'll air some of those as time permits. Headlines in the Daily Caller. It's not even an election year, but the clock is already ticking for Joe Biden. Portions of the day show brought to you by Discounted Appliance Warehouse. Are you tired of dealing with appliance salesmen who have no experience, know nothing about the appliances that they're trying to sell you? When you go into one of the big box stores, it's just a hit or miss. It is a crapshoot with who you'll get. Quite often, they just point you to aisle 39 and you stand there staring at a row of refrigerators. That's not the experience you're going to get at Discounted Appliance Warehouse. That's why I recommend shopping there. And that's why I buy all of my appliances at Discounted Appliance Warehouse. They have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, nearly perfect reviews on Google, and the team at Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they have the knowledge you need to have the confidence in your purchase. Appliances are not cheap. You need to make the right decision the first time. It's worth the short drive over to Pickens, Discounted Appliance Warehouse. Find them online at dawpickens.com, dawpickens.com. This is a pretty good analysis of where we are right now as we are just days away from entering 2024 and the presidential election. Though it's months away before we get into primary season, we will have the caucuses in January, New Hampshire primary in January, and then start coming south into South Carolina. A look back at where Democrat candidates stood at this very time, late December, ahead of their election year, spells more bad news for President Joe Biden if this trend is repeated. Former President Donald Trump remains the frontrunner and likely Republican presidential nominee for the 2024 election. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former Governor Nikki Haley continue to kind of spar for that second position. In several national swing state hypothetical matchup, Biden trails Trump, who as of December 23rd had a 2.3-point lead over our 81-year-old incumbent president, according to a Real Clear Politics polling average. In the last few elections, if you look at those, Democrat candidates were in better positions in the polls. Whether they ultimately won or lost, none had to overcome the same deficit that Joe Biden now faces as he enters 2024. Let's just look back. Let's go to 2020 with Biden's election. On December 24th of 2019, according to the Daily Caller, Biden led Trump by 4.5 points. This was the Real Clear Politics average at the time. The results, with all the questions that arose with the changes in voting methods due to COVID, you know all about it, don't have to relive it, gave Biden the win, even if it's not accepted by a lot of Americans. It's questionable. A lot of things happen. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was in a much better place at this time than Biden was as she went into 2016. On December 24th of 2015, Hillary Clinton had a 6.1-point lead over Donald Trump, according to Real Clear Politics. Clinton ended up winning the popular vote in 2016, you'll recall, 48.2% to 46.1%, but Trump defeated Hillary 304 to 227 in the Electoral College to win the election. And we all know the response of Hillary Clinton. She couldn't believe it. And she has questioned the legitimacy of that election ever since. But yet she's not considered an election denier. But if we question something that happened that was questionable in 2020, we're labeled an election denier. Now, let's look at President Barack Obama and his poor polling ahead of his reelection in 2012. Even though Obama was polling better in head-to-head matchup with his hypothetical challenger, Obama had a 2.5 lead over Republican Utah Senator Mitt Romney, according to Real Clear Politics. In addition to trailing Trump in several hypothetical matchups, Biden isn't polling well with the American people when it comes to a number of issues. His age, for example, the border, and the most importantly, the economy. The president's approval rating has plummeted since he took office. He started at his peak and has gone down every single month since, falling to 34%, the lowest it's been throughout his approval rating, that is, the lowest it's been throughout his administration, according to a Monmouth University poll. That same poll showed that 69% of Americans disapprove of how Joe Biden has handled the migration crisis. Just 31% of Americans say the president is paying enough attention to the issues they find to be priorities. When it comes to the president's economic policies, the program that he loves to brag about, Bidenomics, the American people just aren't buying it. Just 12% of American voters say their economic situation is improving, while 44% say they're struggling financially, according to the Monmouth University poll. A majority of Americans, 77%, believed in September that Biden is too old to govern effectively. Despite what the numbers show, Washington insiders say that Biden and his team reportedly plan to keep their same strategy ahead of the 2024 election. People close to Biden and commented to the New York Times saying the president's reelection campaign is going to continue their messaging of directly comparing the boss's policies to those of Republicans. I guess that's probably a good thing, isn't it? I guess that is good news because his messaging doesn't seem to be working. And nobody's buying Bidenomics, for sure. The Biden campaign, as well as allies of the president, are also hoping to lean into negative coverage of Donald Trump to help salvage Biden's plummeting poll numbers, according to the New York Times. The Adrian Shropshire, the executive director of Black PAC, which is an African-American political organization, said, not having the day-to-day chaos of Donald Trump in people's faces certainly has an impact on how people are measuring the urgency of the danger of another Trump administration. It is important to remind people of what a total and absolute disaster Trump was. She thinks Biden is a success and Trump was a disaster. I'd love to sit down and talk with her. I'd love to pick her brain for a minute. How can she say that things were worse during the Trump administration? She'd probably never admit it either way. As of the 2024 election approaches, Democrats are reportedly urging the Biden campaign to focus on issues like abortion access. But reports are that Biden himself wants to keep his campaign messaging focused on the threat to democracy. The president and his campaign have ramped up their attacks of Trump, with Biden even revealing the reason he decided to run for re-election while attending a December campaign fundraiser in Boston a few weeks ago. The president said that he may not have entered the 2024 race if Trump wasn't running. He told the group, if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running, but we cannot let him win. South Carolina education lottery officials are looking for a winner, although nobody captured the grand prize worth more than $500 million in this past weekend's Powerball drawing. Someone in the Palmetto State bought a ticket that matched enough numbers for a six-figure jackpot, a $150,000 winning Powerball game sold in South Carolina, according to the lottery officials. Now the search is underway for the winner. The ticket that was one number shy of winning the Powerball grand prize was sold at the King Street Station convenience store in Charleston, South Carolina. That's in the downtown area near the College of Charleston campus. The winning ticket matched 4 white ball numbers and the red Powerball number in Saturday's drawing. The winning numbers in Saturday's drawing were 9, 14, 17, 18, 53, and the Powerball was 6. So check your tickets if you haven't already. Because the winner paid an additional $1 for the Power Play option when purchasing the ticket, the prize tripled from the $50,000 to $150,000 when that number was a 3, according to the release. The winner has 180 days to claim the prize, according to officials. The winner will be allowed to retain some privacy, as South Carolina is one of 11 states, along with Arizona, Delaware, Georgia, Kansas, Maryland, New Jersey, North Dakota, Ohio, Texas, and Virginia, that allow lottery winners to remain anonymous. The odds of matching 4 white balls and the red Powerball for the prize are 1 in 913,000. That's an interesting question. If you were to win the Powerball, would you want to remain anonymous, since South Carolina allows that? Or would you want to tell the world? Text me your answer, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Love to know. Would you want people to know that you had just won the lottery? That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined our mailing list, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so you can receive our emails with the most up-to-date news. Thanks for spending a few minutes of your day. If you're sticking around, be sure and join me today as I'll be guest hosting the Mike Gallagher Show. Just go to mikeonline.com or search for the Mike Gallagher Show and download the app. I'd love to have you join me for that. Keep your comments coming via the Truth text line, 864-477-JOEY. Keep your emails coming as well to joey@joeyhudson.com. We're back again tomorrow. Until then, remember, folks, God's got this. He's still in control.